Gentlemen, what are your experiences with Shilajit? Mine are starting to become quite good. More energy, more testosterone, apparently, better sleep, almost an antidote for nearly anything and everything, which is why you should be skeptical, but don't mind me, just having my morning Shilajit before I share with you what I believe is a heartbreaking story and the impetus behind the colloquial passport bros term. You heard of this term now, passport bros? I'm thinking to indulge this idea personally and go over to the East because I haven't been as of yet. So I'll explain what that means in just a minute, guys. So I saw this post and it broke my heart, and I wanted to share it with you because I believe it is the impetus of why a lot of men are leaving Western culture and why your quality of life could be increased substantially by doing the same. So, I want a husband and a baby so badly I could cry. A few days ago, I shared a meme to Facebook that went something like, have you ever looked at a guy and wanted to cook dinner for him for the rest of your life? And a couple of my friends made laugh emoji comments that said nope and took it like a joke. I took the meme seriously because I have experienced this for myself, whether or not the meme was meant to be a joke. Cheers. I am 29 years old, and all I can think about is how badly I long for a family of my own. I want a loving man to protect and lead me and make me feel safe and wanted. I want to give someone a home and share all the love that is in my heart untapped. I feel like there is a huge fountain of love locked up inside me, and if someone turns the key, a waterfall will come pouring out onto them. So let's pause here for a moment because this is all lovely to hear, and it is ironic that this is shared on Reddit, which is an anonymous forum. You don't need to leave your name, you don't need to leave personal details around you, but this is like a message from the soul of most women, right? And I tell you what I mean by it's a message from a soul and not a message from the ego, because I believe deeply sat in the soul of the feminine is that innate drive to nurture, right? All these bits and pieces that she's sharing here, the antithesis of the masculine, if the masculine is to lead and penetrate the world, it is the role of the feminine to nurture and yield to the world. That's how complementary opposites work. That's the yin, that's the yang, that's the sun, that's the day, sun, that's the night. You get the point here. But unfortunately, this message, this longing of the feminine soul is becoming perverted by the feminine ego, or I should say the feminist ego around it. Look, I'm not going to go too much into the very horrible narrative that feminism espouses in the world today because I don't want to talk about it. It makes me sick personally. I'd rather focus on the beautiful premise, the beautiful dharma, maybe you could describe, of the feminine soul. I want to cook somebody their favorite dinner. I want to fold someone else's clothes. I want to buy somebody their favorite treat when they had a bad day and surprise them when they come home. I want to brush someone's hair with my hand and hold them until they fall asleep. I want to go grocery shopping with somebody. I want to drive around with someone. All the little things couples take for granted would feel like winning the lottery to me. Every morning when I'm just starting to wake up, I cuddle a wad of blankets and imagine I'm holding my baby and laying next to my husband. Feeling so warm and safe together, I swear whatever trouble is on my mind for that day melts away. I can drift away to that dream only for a few minutes until my brain fully wakes up and reality sets in. It's very rare that a woman in Western culture will be so transparent with this, mentioning the anonymity of Reddit, because it goes against the grain of what the women on Facebook made of this message, laughing in relation to no man makes me feel like I want to tap into my natural feminine impulse. I can promise you, by the way, that they feel this way, or they may not feel this way, but they know deep down this is a primal reflex of the feminine nature. But their ego has been so warped, the narrative, the mind, the mentality has been so warped by you becoming this boss babe, or whatever the case may be, is going to be the impetus to the quality of life, or you having a very happy and fulfilled life, and not family, not taking up the nurturing role in the household. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, men are becoming sick of it and are moving away to cultures whereby femininity is part of the tradition of the culture. So this term passport bros is where men of Western culture, so men in the UK, men in the US, are flying over to places like the Asian countries, Philippines, and they are finding women who are more than happy not to just feel this way, but live this way, speak this way without any repercussions of this feminist backlash. Traditional values are so ingrained in their culture, and men are finding very, very attractive women as well who have these traditional values, who want them to be the breadwinner and who want to take on the more submissive, nurturing and yielding role within the household, who want to give them children, and whose standards are very, very low comparatively to what I would say the superficial standards are of most Western women. One of the points I often make to my friends about my wife, my future wife, is that she's going to have a history of, I like to say suffering, but I think in hindsight, it's more gratitude, in that somebody from a country like the Philippines will recognize the capacity to be grateful for food on the table, a roof over their head, water in the taps. You ask the average Western woman, no, they're not grateful for that. They want designer brands, designer clothing, designer bags. They want the latest technology, the latest iPhone. They want to be driven around in supercars and bits. And not all women, granted. Again, I understand that making a generalization here, but a better way to describe it is there's more women of this capacity here, this traditional capacity in countries like the Philippines, much more in Western countries like the US and the UK. Meaning the likelihood of your average man, I'm an average man, your average man finding a high quality woman, or I should say, women with more qualities that average men value, is going to be far more likely in those countries. And these guys are finding them. Again, it's not an idea, it's a reality that a lot of these men are experiencing, because a lot of men are sick. A lot of men are sick of these Facebook girls laughing at this idea of femininity, which is what it is, that nurturing reflex. They think going to a 9-to-5, having a boss is more important than raising their children and supporting a family. Can you imagine? Imagine we've gotten to that state now. Now, as I mentioned, there are women out there that do want this. Difficult to find. I believe you're not going to find them on Tinder. You're not going to find them in the club. You're not going to find them at the bars or pubs or environments where promiscuity and drinking is the culture. You're going to find them in bookstores. You're going to find them in coffee shops. You're going to find them perhaps doing some kind of sport, going to the gym, yoga classes, meditation groups, breathwork classes, things like that. But you'll find them in abundance in the Eastern cultures. I'm very curious if any people watching have made the transition from Western culture to Eastern culture, and if they can share their personal stories here, because I'm sure I would be certainly interested to hear from how that is going for you, and maybe for the Western men who identify with women who are feeling like their femininity is being suffocated in relation to this feminist agenda that has been running like toxic sludge through our culture, and where you would advocate men to find women who are more of this natural feminine disposition. These are not theories, gentlemen. These are facts. Speak soon.